Welcome to this video. I have my winter cardigan on. Excuse me. When I started thinking about making this vlog, I thought I was going to be reading The Woman Who Borrowed Memories Selected Stories by Tove Jansson, and I think I'm finally pronouncing her name fully correct, hopefully. I started reading it, I got to page 38. If you've been on this channel before, you might know I'm not a fan of short story collections, but since I really loved the summer book by Jansson, I was like, I'll try this. I got it from the library, so it wasn't like a big deal. And I was liking it, I was enjoying it. Like, her writing is just nice. But I never felt motivated to pick this up or like pulled to it. I'm always just kind of like, gotta read another short story. Oof. I just don't like them. I don't know, they just don't, they're forgettable to me. They're not, I don't know, like they can be good, but I don't like them really. So I think I'm gonna DNF this, which is fine. I think also because it's a library book, I was feeling kind of like the time constraint, and I was like, well, I mean, they give you kind of a long time to read it, but I don't know, I just couldn't really I would have to go at a really slow pace, I feel like, to read a short story collection, and I don't know, I think I should just give up on them. I don't think the format is for me. Yeah, we're gonna return that. Like, I think I need things to be at least novella length for me to feel engaged and connected and get into the story and care. And I honestly think novellas are great. Like, I love a short, quick read, but they're so long enough where I'm like, yeah, this is good. So I'll probably still read like individual short stories maybe, like especially like from classic authors, but yeah, okay. I picked up kind of the opposite of a short story. An over 800 page book, so yeah, really not the same at all. But that's A Day of Fall Night by Samantha Shannon, which is a fantasy novel. It's the prequel to Priory of the Orange Tree, but they each stand on their own, or can, if you want them to. I read Priory of the Orange Tree a really long time ago, and by that, probably like 2 years. So I really don't remember that much from that book, kind of just like vague memories. So going into this, I was basically going in like, who knows? I'm on page 98, so not that far in considering how big it is, but I'm starting to like learn the world again and like the characters, learn their names and whatnot, and it's getting interesting. Things are happening, which is good, and I'm liking it, but I don't think it's gonna be like mind-blowing 5 stars, but it's feeling fun, and that's what I'm doing. So honestly, I'm just in like a classics mood, I feel like. Like, more specifically, I just kind of am interested in like Russian literature right now. Like, I've only read 3 Russian classics, 2 of them being Leo Tolstoy. But I don't know, for some reason I'm just like, I own The Master and Margarita, but I'm kind of thinking of reading that next year. But yeah, I already have a lot of books I need to read that I own. So I should read those ones. Also, we got the whole crew in here. Bean. Ollie. My piece of bread. Yo. Also, I have a bunch of books that I'm planning to unhaul. You can see the piles happening here. So I thought I was gonna go through them because some people are interested in unhauling. I don't know. So we'll just talk about that, the drama. So I do have 2 piles, cause sometimes I like to give books or sell books to half-price books so I can get some money back and spend it on more books. But then I also have a pile that would go to free little libraries because I like to go to those and contribute some of my books. So yeah, that's where these would go once I get rid of them. I don't know when I'm gonna get rid of them because both of those things, going to half-price books and going to free little libraries take energy and time. And I also wouldn't want to do that by myself. But anyway, I'm not gonna go too in depth because I actually kind of have a lot here. Bean's eating over there, so if you can hear him, that's what that is. Anyways, Girl at War by Sarah Novick. I read this a while ago. I thought it was good. I think I gave it 3 stars. I just don't have any connection to it anymore, and I'm like, someone else could read that. I kind of want the books on my shelves mostly to be a representation of what I like and interested in. Not that I wasn't interested in that, but you know what I mean. Then we have the Letters of Vincent van Gogh, which I actually got this year for cheap, at least. I feel bad about getting rid of books that I bought brand new, but a lot of the books that I buy are used, so it's okay. Yeah, so I bought this year. Obviously I had a lapse of judgment when I bought it because I was like, oh yeah, it seems cool, which it does, but girl, you're not gonna ever read that. I don't care about Vincent van Gogh that much. So then we have Sadie by Courtney Summers. Again, really enjoyed it when I read it. It's been a while now. I'm just not really a thriller person, first of all. I don't know. I don't need it. Someone else can have it. Then we have, I don't know, is it the Elef? I don't know. And Other Stories by Borges. It's a short story collection. I think that explains it. I'm sorry, this one actually is maybe offensive. Sorry. I'm not cultured enough, I guess. Solar Plexus. Didn't like it. I DNF'd that book. Tula. I read 20 pages maybe of this book and then The Wisdom of Rilke. I really want to read more Rilke. All I've read is Letters to a Young Poet. So that's why I bought this, but it's not really a poetry collection. It's just a bunch of random kind of quotes from him collected, which I don't really love. I think, honestly, it's kind of similar maybe to the short story collections. It's just too short for me to read it and get into it. I'd much rather just read his poetry, if that makes sense. I don't know. Outlawed, Anna North. It was okay. I don't care. The Librarian of Auschwitz I really enjoyed this book. Read it a while ago. I think someone else would just be able to enjoy it. It's kind of my perspective. Jane Steele. I don't care anymore. And then all of these books here. I won't go through them all. There's more over there, but all of these were for a serial killer literature class that I was forced to take. I did not want to take it. I think that explains it. I don't want this in my house. I don't want this around me. It's giving me bad vibes. The energy's off. I don't like it. Speed things up. The Dragon Keeper, I read that. But, you know. Memoirs of a Geisha. This kind of honestly has like not important, but like memories tied to it. But again, I was like, do I need this book? Not really. So, Daughter of Fortune, liked it, but I'm like, again, I don't know. And on the spine, it's like, what is that? I don't like that. Two more books that were for my serial killer class that unfortunately I had to read. Deviant, The Shocking True Story of Ed Gein, the original Psycho, and Red Dragon. Jeez. Also in here there's Psycho, which again is for my class. It wasn't good. Wouldn't recommend, to be honest. It wasn't good. Then we have The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath, which may be surprising. I haven't read this book again. I think I got it this year because I was like, that's a classic. I think I'd enjoy. And it kind of seems like a staple. But then I've just like heard people talking about the racism and like the homophobia that are in this book, which that's a whole conversation of being classics and the problematic things they have in them. It could be like, oh, it's just a product of its time. And sometimes I can understand that, but at the same time it's like, I don't need to read this book. And I don't really want to read about that stuff. Like, I'm not that interested in it, I guess. If that makes sense. I don't know, whatever. Then we have, again, short stories. So this one I did not pick up on my own accord. I had to, for a class. It was for a class. Moon Over Manifest. I read this when I was like younger. So again, it's like, I don't know, some kid could like that. The Secret Life of Bees. I don't know, don't care anymore. A Madness So Discreet. I like stopped saying who the authors are. I'm just, ooh, she's kind of a little busted. But again, I read this like, I was maybe middle school, or I don't even know. I don't know. And then some poetry. Whatever. So there's all the unhaul books. Probably. Yeah, it's kind of a lot. But what can I say? I'm gonna be gifting these to other people to enjoy. So I did get 2 library books from my college, university library. I guess update on this. I'm further in, still enjoying it. I'm entertained. There's 3 different POVs in this, and I enjoy all of them. I don't know if I enjoy all of them equally quite yet, maybe. So I do like that 2 of the 3 perspectives we're following are from older women. One being like around 50, I think. Another one, I think she's 27, and then we're also following a 15-year-old girl. So there's a range of ages sometimes with fantasy. I feel like there's a lot of focus on young characters, but we have a lot going on here. Though there is also a younger man, I think he's like 18, that is kind of a character we're following in here a little too. But things are happening. I mean, I'm how many pages in? I'm on page 185, so I've read quite a bit, but again, it's really long. But things were happening pretty quickly, which was good for me. I wanted a little excitement. There's some drama, which is good. So yeah. Do I have more to say than that? Not really, I don't know. But then the library books that I got. This is the first time I've ever got books, checked out books from my college. I like never go in the library there, but I had to today for this assignment thing. But where I was in the library was like the world literature section, basically, like the, I don't know what they called it. It was like language or something literature and languages, I think, which is the perfect place for me, as you may know, or not. But yeah, I definitely want to go back there actually and maybe see what else they have. I mean, I looked, but I only got 2 things. But like, it's almost the end of the semester, so like, I'm really not gonna be there much until like February. I had to think about that. So yeah, like next semester I'll probably like go in there a little more, see what's happening. So the first thing I picked up is, I've never heard of this book. I mean, it doesn't have like a dust jacket or anything, but it's called Cat Country by Lao Shi. In the front here, it had kind of like a little description, barely. It says, a satirical novel of China in the 1930s. That's all it said. But like, that paired with the fact that it's called Cat Country intrigued me. So I got it, even though I know nothing about it. I didn't even look it up. I was just like, maybe it has to do with cats. And it's, I don't know. I read a non-fiction book from China, so I have read from China, but I haven't read like Chinese fiction, and this also sounds like it's maybe is it a classic? Oh no. Well, it says it was published in 1970, but I'm assuming that it's set in the 1930s. But I don't know, I was intrigued by it. It might be like funny or interesting. And then the second book is called The Portable Russian Reader. It was covered up by that. A comprehensive collection of Russian literature from Pushkin and Gogol to Gorky and Ehrenberg. It looks like this. I mean, their faces are kind of covered. Yeah, like I was saying earlier, I'm interested in reading more Russian literature, and I'm not gonna read this whole thing, but like it says, it's kind of just a collection of some stories, and also it says like letters. There's letters in here, different literatures, and this could be not like a start, because like I said, I have read some Russian lit, but it could be like more of a way for me to read it, you know what I'm saying. So there's like some short stories in here, I think, which you may be questioning, Ella, you're gonna read short stories after you were just complaining about them? Okay, I was complaining more about short story collections than short stories. I can read short stories. I think if I just kind of read them here or there, it will be fine. But when I have to read them like one after another, it just doesn't work. Yeah, so some of the stories in here that I recognized: The Overcoat by Gogol, Ward Number 6 by Chekhov. I don't know if there's other ones, but those two I've heard of, and I'm definitely interested in reading the Chekhov story because it sounded interesting. But yeah, so we'll see what I dive into here. I don't know who this is translated by. Let me see. Oh. Yeah, on the front it says, selected, translated, and introduced by Bernard Gilbert Gurney. Yeah, those are the books that I got. I'll probably be more likely to read from this one than this one, but who knows? Who knows? I just finished reading The Overcoat by Nikolai Gogol from this, and I liked it. Maybe first I should say what it's about. A man who is got a messed up overcoat, and so he needs to get a new one. But it takes a little bit of struggle money-wise so that he can afford it. Like, this isn't an easy purchase for him. So he finally gets his beautiful overcoat, and then someone steals it, and things go from there. They go down. But this is like a satirical yet tragic sort of story. That I did like it, but I didn't love it. And I was kind of like looking at other people's ratings and reviews on Goodreads, and I was like, I don't get it. Like, everyone was like, oh my gosh, amazing. And I'm like, don't yell at me. I'm sorry. I would like to read more from Gogol. Like, I think Dead Souls, pretty sure that's by him, and I have that on my mind TBR. I'm interested in that. But yeah, I don't know, maybe, I don't know if translation has anything to do with it. It didn't feel like it was a bad translation. It just felt like a story where I was like, yep, cool story. I see what you're doing here. But it isn't like anything that did much for me. If that makes sense. I don't know. Am I crazy? I'm still planning on reading, well, I tabbed 4 stories, so there's 3 other ones in here that we'll see when I get to, but the one I'm most excited about and to probably read next is the Ward Number 6 by Anton Chekhov. So, I don't know if I'll read that in this video, but hello. I don't know. So I've made it to page 300 of this book, which is pretty good, I think. It's very readable. Even though it's super long, like, I find myself being able to go through it pretty quickly, I suppose. But I just wanted to give, like, a little update before finishing this video. But yeah, so with the older characters, is specifically Tanuva, who is I think she's like 50-ish years old. You're seeing a lot about like motherhood and those types of experiences. There are some like more triggering aspects to motherhood that are in this book. I wouldn't say it's like super, it's not explicit or anything, but that is there. So I would warn against, not against, you know what I'm saying. I am enjoying having this perspective of an older woman who, she is a mother, but she's also kind of serving as a mother figure to this younger girl, which I like to see. It's different, like I was saying before. There's a lot of young people in fantasy, but it was kind of reminding me of the Sword of Kaigen. It's not really as similar. It's just this has a mother character in this book who's like amazing. Love her. And that book deals also with like being a mother but in a fantasy world. That one's a 5-star. Sword of Kaigen is an amazing book, but yeah, what am I even saying? But I'm entertained and it's going good, and